How is everyone doing on this beautiful, beautiful evening? It could be afternoon. It could be like early as hell in the morning. I don't know really what time zone you're in, but whatever one it is, how are you doing and how are you feeling today? And today, I don't know. Let's not act like I have fans, but just in case you stumble across this, how I usually do it, I always start a video off with a quick disclaimer. I did have my little sip this time. Usually it's coffee or it's like some type of caffeinated beverage. This time, it's just the good old Wawa, good old H2O. I was feeling a little dehydrated, you know what I mean? Sometimes you get a little dehydrated. Sometimes doing these little long recordings, you get a little cotton mouth. And that is like, it always sucks when you're in the middle of recording and you start getting cotton mouth in the middle. You're like, God, let's hurry up and wrap this up. I gotta get a freaking sip of water. But of course, even though it's just strictly gameplay and me talking, by the way, the gameplay you see on the screen, I caved. I bought Helldivers 2, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hating on the sidelines. Like, all right, everybody's kind of nut hugging this game. No way this game is this good. Well, I believe I was incorrect. The game is actually just quality. It's just a quality game. Very just simple fun. Just simple, very nice cooperatively. I have not played that much of it. I really haven't really dived into how crazy it can get. I'm not super high level. I mean, I've been playing mainly solo recently, and solo, that's the reason why I kind of hesitated buying it to start, because I was kind of nervous about playing solo, because I heard that it's not very, like, you can only get to a certain difficulty in solo, and I'm already starting to see that. The game is not very forgiving, pretty difficult in some scenarios, but that is not why we are here today. Quick just disclaimer before I even start talking about the topic at hand that I have. Like I said, I'm a casual gamer. I am not in any way, shape, or form a gaming journalist, or I'm not even to the type of person. I like playing games. That's mainly what I do. That's why these videos aren't super seriously edited. I know a lot of guys that edit videos. I've seen them on YouTube who spend 12 to 15 hours editing these super crazy videos. And I don't do this full time. And most of the time when I'm sitting at this desk, I'd rather be playing than making videos. I'm more of a video game player than a video maker. That makes sense. But yeah, completely off topic again. So basically the whole reason me saying this is that I'm not super well versed in the gaming industry. I'm not the type of person that could tell you about every single gaming studio and who's the head of the studio and all that. Not really my cup of tea, but I'm well versed enough to know, I'm tapped in enough to know how things are going. And really, another disclaimer, I'm really just kind of chilling. I'm probably gonna chill out making YouTube videos for probably a month, because around early May, I'm planning on getting me a new PC, a stronger PC, because I'm starting to realize that a lot of games that I'm playing, I'm having to lower the settings and to pretty much maybe even medium 1080p, 60. For example, me playing Justice League, Justice League, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. I really had to really neuter that game, and it really kind of broke my heart. And I recently wanted to get Dragon's Dogma and start playing it fully. And I don't think, it started having some ick about the PC variation of it. But if people were freaking way stronger PCs are having problems with it, there's no way this little thing is going to be able to run it. So I had to humble myself, and I know now I need a new PC before I start wanting to play the big boys like that. I don't think my quality PC's not ready for it. Just a little bit out. That game's a little bit out of its league, and a couple other games too, to tell you the truth. And I'm kind of a OCD type of guy. I'm kind of I need that quality, at least in gameplay. You already know my videos are garbage, but I need to see some quality gameplay on the screen. Okay, yeah, and that's about, I guess, concludes the disclaimer. So now I'm gonna get to the main topic at hand, because if you made this far in the video, yeah, now we're actually getting to the topic. And the topic is something really simple. It's very, very simple. And basically, I've been coming across a lot of videos. I think it's coming over a trend now where people are is gaming dead? Are we in another, is it about to be the collapse? gaming, because gaming, like a lot of people are very let's say they're kind of up in arms about like a lot of things. It could be dull writing, open world fatigue, and probably a huge one is like just the what's what I'm looking for, the moral compass of microtransactions, and really like where games as a service is another huge, what they call them, GaaS, GaaS. Games as a service are also a very big topic at hand that could be some people think it's killing the gaming industry. I don't know how many numbers represent that. And like I said, I'm not a gaming journalist. It's just me coming from a full-blown consumer point of view. And yeah, they're saying that games like that are really kind of killing it. A perfect example is Suicide Squad. And then, which I don't really think it's a gaming service as a whole, just gotta be done right. Because, on the other hand, you got Helldivers, which is wildly successful games as a service. Then you got Suicide Squad. Those games are night and day difference. So, and we'll get to there too. But with that being said, and basically what something that drives me in life, something I live by, and it's gonna sound very simple, but I really do live by this. And with everything in my life, I ask myself this. Well, I tell myself this. I say, make less statements and ask more questions. A lot of people, they just make, when they can't do something, they don't want to do something, they just make a statement. Like, let's say it could be anything, I can't go to the gym. I just can't do it. But like, if it's really important to you, you gotta ask yourself, wait a minute, why can't you go to the gym? And a lot of times, you kind of do like a little 5 why system. And a lot of times it just kind of comes down to you just don't feel like it. And it's, that's understandable, but just you gotta act, you gotta be real with yourself. And usually, statements are a lot easier to make than asking questions, because questions require answers, and sometimes people don't want to answer them. Anyway, off topic again, ADHD, this is a horrible freaking commentary, I understand. So yeah, so basically what I'm asking myself is, are they actually bad? Are we getting older? Is like the trend of gaming just kind of getting past people? It's something we gotta ask ourselves. I'm not here to necessarily say games are not getting worse or they're getting better, but I really want to ask and like kind of compare, like, what games that are critically acclaimed today, are they as good as the games that are critically acclaimed in the past? And, today's games that are really big, you got games like the God of War franchise, kind of like, it's almost like has like 2 years to it. It's got like 2 different stages of God of War. You got the original PlayStation, like PS2, PS3 God of War, and you got the PS4, PS5. Well, yeah, PS5, yeah. Ragnarok came on PS5, right? Yep. PS4, PS5 God of War. You compare and trash. You got the Spider-Man franchise, Cyberpunk and The Witcher. And like, Cyberpunk and Witcher, those are, Cyberpunk especially is a little bit controversial, excuse me. But like games like Baldur's Gate, the Dead Space and actually Resident Evil remakes are as good as the old ones, and the new Switch Zeldas. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, how do they compare to the old? And why, because a lot of videos, especially, a big, let's say, like always on YouTube thumbnail, you see with these videos that people are complaining about games, like they got really edgy titles, like games just aren't fun anymore, and games are just boring, and boom, 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 that. And you kind of got to ask yourself, I always really wonder why. So basically what I'm asking is, like, are they actually getting worse? And in my opinion, nowadays, I feel no. Like, I genuinely feel that games on a quality standpoint, if you take back all the, if you put these games that are releasing now and you rewind it 10 years ago, I think these games will be incredible. Like, if you put Baldur's Gate 3 in 2010, it's gonna blow people. I mean, obviously, it's blowing people's mind in 2023. 2010 is gonna fucking blow your mind. I mean, even like, I really believe that even like games that aren't popular, like Halo Infinite, you rewind the clock back 10 years and Halo Infinite is insane. Because back then, I believe, in 2000, let's say 2010, let me go back to when I was younger and like still at home playing games. We're saying around like 2008, 14 and stuff. And those games were really, they were really judged by just really the gameplay and story. Like it was judged based on how good of a game it was. And I believe that is what stands out, you know, today. A lot of times we judge games on different things than like just how fun is the game, you know. And there's a lot of things, like I said, microtransactions, games of service, you know, like kind of going down, like they call it the Ubisoft formula, where you kind of just run around and collecting things all day and kind of doing things that really are fruitless and don't mean anything, which kind of plagues the gaming, you know, a lot today. But, you know, because you look at old games, like let's be honest, like, I mean, let me rewind the clock back to when I was just a wee lad in my mother's basement, sitting down and like, what was different then? Like how, because I realized, like, for example, now when I play a game, I have to like record myself and I have to like talk about it and take notes and give my opinion on it and make YouTube videos. And because I really believe that if I wasn't doing that, I would probably not enjoy gaming nearly as much. I wasn't documenting. And I think that's me just getting older. You know, I think, you know, just having more responsibility and everything. I think now I just want to like capture these moments, and I have the equipment to do it. So I think that's me getting older. I don't think that has nothing to do with the games, how they are. I think it's just me getting older, because these games are available to me back when I was a kid. Not even say kid, even a teenager. I barely left my basement then. I would literally fucking weld my door shut and just like piss in bottles and find me a corner to pile up feces. That's disgusting. Okay. But anyway, won't be that serious. But I'd be playing these games like a maniac. But back then, you know, because games back then didn't have as much content. I don't believe. Now I think about it, some did, but not really. Like I'm thinking like the Halo franchise. You know, like Halo 1, 2, and 3 are like, you know, the golden Halos, you know, made by Bungie. And I'm trying to think like what was different about Halo 1, 2, and 3 and Infinite. And it's a lot. You know, primarily just like, you know, Halo back then was just, it was gameplay. It was gameplay, and the story was more intriguing and not as, you know, just not as complex. And it's just a lot of stuff, you know, at the Fallout. And that's nothing too, a lot of franchises fell off. Like Bethesda really fell off. Because I remember back when, like, you know, like just Bethesda gaming studios, like Fallout 3 and like Skyrim and Oblivion, and like those games were incredible. And now the latest released by Bethesda Game Studio, while I do believe is not as bad as the community make it seem, still it's just, it has not evolved. And I'm talking about Starfield, of course. Beat that game too. You know, beat that game. You know, I put over 100 hours in that game, so I have a actual like opinion of the game. But we won't go down that route. But like, you know, games like, you know, BioShock. You know, another game that I'm thinking about was, I think it's crazy how we say it's way better. Back then was like Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty, back when I was in like 8th, 9th grade, Call of Duty was that game. Now Call of Duty is like almost like, I wouldn't call it a meme of the gaming community, but like a lot of people just, you play, like if you just play Call of Duty, you're looked at as like a normie or like a turd. Like you just play Call of Duty, ew. But like Call of Duty back then, when I was young and like, you know, in my adolescent age, Call of Duty was the game. Everybody in my school was playing Call of Duty. Everybody was 1v1ing. Like, I mean, I don't know if kids today would even get the reference 1v1 Rust, and how literally that like was literally like meet me in the gym locker room to fight. Like if you were in class and somebody said, "Oh, you think you're better at quickscoping than me? All right, 1v1 tonight on Rust." Like that was literally a challenge. Like challenger approaching. Like it was like legitly like, motherfucker, what? 1v, bro, I'll be there. What time? 8 o'clock? All right, bitch, I'ma see you. Like this shit was serious. And whoever won, like you got infinite bragging rights. Like Call of Duty, like I remember, like, you know, now it's all about esports, but like Call of Duty back then, like people forget that clans used to mean something. The little makeshift in-game clans, like that shit was legit. Like I remember me in freaking 8th grade trying out for a Call of Duty clan. I think it was called like Raw, which is a hilarious name for a clan. It probably felt so cool back then that it's so fucking corny and cringy. Raw. It's all caps RAW. Raw. Like, and we were like, oh my God. And like the whole, to get in the clan, you had fucking tryouts. We joined a clan, me and my friends, and there were tryouts. In the tryout, we had to 1v1 the leader of the clan on Russ. And actually, I almost beat him. He did beat me. He got my ass, but I was close to beating him. I was pretty good at Call of Duty back then. But yeah, and it's just like, like just, even games I didn't play that much growing up. I mean, people say are way better, like the Diablo franchise. People hate Diablo 4. Pretty much almost declaring it dead, especially if Path of Exile comes out and does really good. They're already declaring Diablo 4 dead. I actually enjoyed Diablo 4, but I'm very easy to repeat. I'm not gonna lie. I know about myself. I can get into something very easily. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But like even past Zeldas, like even though some people, I think even critically, really Breath of the Wild might be the best Zelda, the more recent Breath of the Wild. But Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, all those Zeldas people have a lot of nostalgia with. The Mario games, 1,000 of those, Metro Prime, which people want to remake. People want Metro Prime 4 so bad. So like really gotta ask yourself, like, are games as bad as we're making them seem? Have we just raised the standards of how games should be made, which is good? I mean, we should, as technology gets better, we should be raising our standards. We shouldn't just accept anything, which that is good. You vote with your wallets, but I'm just kind of curious. I'm curious, like I think about this all the time. That's probably why I'm turning this mic on, because I think about it and I'm actually expressing it out, out loud. And I have no notes. I'm really just talking to a mic behind gameplay. Like I don't really know. Like I don't know. Like there's obviously a serious gap between consumers and like publishers and developers. Like consumers don't as the consumer, we don't really understand like what really goes into making a video game. And sometimes things might seem shady. Like we don't know, we all know that video games, it's pretty clear, cut and obvious that video games are a lot more expensive to make than they were 10 years ago. That is pretty clear. These gaming budgets have gotten insane. So like I think there's a big gap between like developers and consumers, or maybe not developers, say publishers and consumers, on like how companies can break even or even make a profit. So maybe we don't know the numbers. We can everyone in their, the Twitter analysts always are like trying to figure out they know all these insiders in the industry. But like we really don't know what goes on in the boardrooms and like what has to be done for these companies to break even and appease their investors. So clearly when games go games as a service, or, there's a lot of microtransactions, is immediately pissed, because it seems like corporate greed immediately. And that could be it. Or it could be like developers just like, dude, this game, well, I guess not developers, once again, publishers. This game cost fucking $300 million and we sold, like, I would say 2 million on release. Like that's not quite breaking us even, or maybe that's not a profit, and it's not breaking us even. Like we need a way to kind of generate passive income so this game is worthwhile, that we had in development for it could be up in development. I don't know what's the average development time. I mean, at least about 4 years, which is crazy. Like that don't sound long. That's fucking a longest time. Imagine being in a company working on your whole tenure at a company was making one game. And that, it's a gap, it's a big gap. It's like between consumers and developers. And like, and a lot of times, a lot of developers aren't I keep saying developers, publishers. I think developers make the game. I think they price anything out. But it's a big, it's not much transparency either. And that's a big, it's almost, it feels like back in the day, I say 10 years ago, like publishers and everybody, the people making the game, they had better customer service. It seemed that way because, it seemed like you bought a game for $50-$60 and whatever you got was in the package. This whole microtransaction battle pass type of era we're in, I think it's very hard for the OGs to adapt to. I think kids are kind of chill. Like kids buy, if you make a good enough game and it appeases children or younger, maybe people at home live with their parents still, yeah, you make money. Fortnite pretty much perfected it, like showing like, yo, you make a pretty cool looking skin, add like a trendy dance to it, and you could tax the fuck out of these children and they'll buy it. Like they don't give a fuck. Like, and it's like, and it's almost like me. It's like, you know, that's like you're just keeping up. Like you don't want to be like, I'm pretty sure in Fortnite, if you have like a fucking season 2 skin, you're like a lame. Like what the fuck you're wearing? You still rocking that skin, or I could be wrong, or it could be like, damn, this motherfucker's like an OG. Stick a John Wick skin from like season 2. This guy's a real player. He must be really good. Either that, or you're like, bro, that shit was like so last year's skin. Like who knows? But like I'm saying, like I feel like when it comes down to microtransactions, if we're going down that route, I feel like it just got to be done. It can't look greedy. Because I think people don't mind supporting a good game, which that should always be the biggest deal. The biggest thing is that you make a really good game. And I think sometimes developers kind of like slip on making a good game and then they want to like tax microtransactions on top of it. And that's kind of crazy. Like, nah, it's like, come on now. But I think most parts, you gotta make a good game, and people like supporting good games. But like, you can't look greedy. So that's where Suicide Squad and Helldivers come into play, because they're both games as a service. One is critically acclaimed, loved, you know, kind of setting a standard for co-op games. And the other one is literally on life support. It might already be dead, low key. I mean, they got a Joker DLC coming out on the 28th of March. But like, let's be honest, who really gives a fuck? Like, I might, because I'm not recording any new videos for my YouTube, so I'm not playing any new games right now. I might just load it up, like reinstall it and see how Joker plays, because I do like it's a free DLC, so I might play it. But at the same time, who the fuck really cares? Like they released a trailer and like everyone just talking shit in the comment section. Like it's just like, yeah. But like I said, the reason why the game is not that popular, well, because this game's a service, and also with their microtransaction, they're fucking taxing. Like if you go through that Suicide Squad, like just the store for the character skins, everything is cosmetic. And they're charging like $25. You know, you can only use like they find a way. They know how to do this too. They math this out correctly. Like you can only spend like 10. You could like add $10 to your wallet to spend, or like 25. And it's like the fact that you're spending $25, like period, on like one skin is absolutely insane. Like that is two of those skins, and your literally 2 skins cost more than Helldivers as a whole. And that's what a consumer sees. Like they can do simple math and it just looks greedy. It makes people not want to support you. Because now it looks like you're trying, like it's like you left some out of the game, all the cool shit just for us to buy it. And that is a problem. Same thing happened to Halo Infinite. And I feel like that right there is what plagues a lot of modern day games. And I think that's why modern day games get more of a bad reputation. People saying the industry might be dead, but not the game's getting worse. I think just the practices are getting less, for lack of better terms, less ethical. The moral compass is kind of going down. But like, you know, Helldivers also has microtransactions, but they're cheap as hell. Like I think like a full skin is like, I think it mounts up the end, totals up to like $2 or $3. And like that right there feels like a micro, you know, root word here, micro, really small microtransaction. Like micro, like literally like $20, $25 is not micro. That's a good amount of money. You could DoorDash like a decent meal in my state for $25 and like maybe eat for the day. Like $25 could feed you for the day. And we're talking about survival here. And you are charging $25 for like a freaking Superman skin or something like that is insane. That's insane. So like really at the end of the day, I don't think gaming is dying. I mean, look at 2023. Last year, there were so many bangers. Like literally, I missed so many games last year that really kind of broke my heart. But I did play Baldur's Gate 3. and the Game of the Year earned this title. And even like, you know, Elden Ring, the previous year Game of the Year, like these games are still quality. So I think it actually is a bad narrative, in my opinion, to say that games are worse now, because I don't believe they're worse. But I do believe we gotta like kind of tighten up that gap between developer and developers, gaming companies and consumers, because I think that the relationship between gaming companies and consumers has like gone astray. Where like a lot of gaming companies, it seems like they see these consumers like only as just money. And it's like, you kind of want to like, because now games that don't have microtransactions are like infinitely praised. They dang near like, I mean, the last two Game of the Years didn't have that. You know, last two Game of the Years did not have microtransactions. You know, at least not that I could think of. You know, I think Elden Ring had them. People love Elden Ring. I mean, that freaking DLC's dropping in June. And like, just talking to a guy at my job, he's like, he's about to take the whole month off. He's so excited for this. And, you know, in Baldur's Gate just got nothing but just updates, no microtransactions. And that game, I mean, literally to this day, it's a single player game. I mean, it's co-op, but you can play it full-blown single player. A lot of people play single player, and it still has an audience on Twitch. Like what, like both those games do, and they're single player games, man. Like, yeah, you can play with a friend, but like they're not like getting games that are still relevant years later. Usually a multiplayer game. Like this game's full-blown single player and it's going insane. You know, and you know, really just, I guess, because I can go on about this literally forever, and I don't got no script, so I'm just talking. And I don't know. Let's see how long I've been going. Let's click on this freaking recording software. Oh, okay. I wasn't even going about. Okay, this is not as long as I thought. I feel like I've been talking for an hour. I'm like in my own head, like, dude, shut up. But with that being said, I feel like there's just a gap between us and the developers or gaming companies. You know, it's got to get to a point now where we gotta like, you know, like we are voting with our wallet, you know, or voting like with our, you know, I think like right now Dragon's Dogma has like a 90 or 90 plus on Metacritic, but like on Steam, it's like not recommended because I think they said that the company like snuck in microtransactions or they did something kind of shady. So like really like gaming companies gotta realize like, yo, like we're kind of losing the people here. That's why, you know, you gotta look like, I mean, I think every gaming company should look to the games that are winning the critically and the people's, like games that are still got some buzz and still got motion years later, and look what they're doing right, you know? Like, man, can you imagine if Cyberpunk gave away their DLC? What was the DLC called? Liberty? Something Liberty, and my brain is literally going to mush. But imagine they gave that DLC away for free, which I know is a giant, that's almost kind of unrealistic to think about it that way. But like, if they gave that game with Idris Elba and all the production value, and they gave it away and said sorry for how the game launched, here, take this DLC years later. What was it, like, what, 4 years later? 3 maybe? I don't know. For free. Not just I know the update to the regular game came out for free, but the DLC 2 for free. Let's not forget the game was taken off the PlayStation Store. Like the game Cyberpunk released, if you weren't some top-end PC gamer, like Cyberpunk was absolutely doggy doo-doo, doggy water. It was so unplayable. It was ridiculous. But if they did that to earn the people's trust back, because prior to Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red was like, they were them dudes. They had The Witcher. Everybody loved The Witcher. Everybody was going crazy over The Witcher. Even me. Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games. It might be my favorite game. It's at least top 3 of all time. Witcher 3 is incredible. And so that's CD Projekt Red. So everybody's like, yo, these guys are the guys. They didn't have to show us really any gameplay of Cyberpunk. They showed a little bit, but they could show us a vertical slice of gameplay, and we would all went out and bought it. And they made their money still. They made like, they sold like 13 million copies. It sold well on launch. In the state, I don't think there's ever been a AAA game that has launched that horribly. I don't think a game has ever of that level launched and been taken off the PlayStation Store because it was that bad. Like just on a technical standpoint. So imagine I'm like, that's what I mean, customer service. You know, let people know like, yo, we put the customers first. And what happened? Why is that not applied to the gaming sphere, the gaming universe? We're like, yo, at the end of the day, it's like the customer is always right. And the customer's showing you, well, maybe it's just a loud minority that have a problem with microtransactions. Maybe a lot of people are buying them. That's why they're not thinking it's a problem. People are still buying them, which is very possible. But, you know, clearly, like, you know, enthusiasts don't like it. So, like, you know, and it seems like, you know, they're not really taking the customers. They're not really taking that into account. They're kind of like, yeah, that's cool, but what do you know? You know, we do this shit. But really, I'm telling you, developers gotta like really, these companies gotta like get the people back on their side, which I believe for the most part they do. You know, it's probably like a loud minority saying the game industry is really bad right now. But even still, you know, there are some things that were better back in the day. Like, you know, just, it's crazy to think now, like any game that just launches that works and just has a lot of content, and all the content that is in the game is like can be fully earned in the game. Like, it's kind of crazy to think how well applauded and how many accolades and how many pats on the back and everything all the praise those games get in this day and era, which that was like the standard 15 years ago. Like, we would never compliment a game. It's like, oh yeah, we bought a game and everything getting the game is there. Like, you don't gotta pay nothing. Like, it's all there. Like, that's nothing we're thinking about. That was nothing we think about complimenting a game on, because it was kind of like the norm, which that has changed. But, you know, this has been Certain Devils, and I promise you, I could motherfucking talk. That's why I still do this YouTube shit. I could talk. It don't matter who's there, who stops by. I will be here chit-chatting. I got this mic and this computer is barely working, especially at the new one. I get the new one, and quality's really up to par. Baby, woo. Like, I'm about to be going crazy. I'm about to be playing so many games at a higher fidelity. I'm gonna try to see. I'm trying to upload videos in like 4K. I'm about to start going crazy and just be chit-chatting. You know, just chit-chatting in the day. And basically, you know, just to reiterate the conversation I was having, you know, it might stumble across it, but are games that bad? And, you know, I guess to answer my own question, I don't believe so. But I do believe that the relationship between gaming companies and the consumer is getting worse, where people are way more critical with good reason though. I mean, the gaming is expensive, you know, and you gotta, you know, if you're paying like $70 for a game, you have the right, you bought a license to that game, you have the right to judge it in a critical fashion. And really the only way to solve that as a developer is make better games and make better business decisions. But yeah, games are still excellent. They're still incredible. I mean, last year can arguably be one of the best years in gaming history. And if it's not the number one, it's up there. There's no denying that. People deny it, but it's hard to deny. I don't see how you can even deny that it's not at least top 3. But yeah, it's been the homie Certain Devils, just chit-chatting to myself or possibly one of you. I've been making that same joke since I've been making YouTube videos like 7 years ago. Like, even my first or second video on YouTube, I'm like, I don't got no fucking viewers. Like, I never promoted this channel, so there's a reason why I have no viewers. It's just, I'm a nerd, I'm a dork. I just love doing this, I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, so like I said, whoever's out there, I hope you have a incredible life. Incredible. You know, you're golden, you're a star, and you can do anything you put your mind to. You never forget that. Yep, I'm talking to you. Once again, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm kind of hungry. Let me eat something. But yeah, it's been real. I hope everyone has a beautiful, beautiful life. And until next time, ciao. Is it ciao? I don't know. Peace out.